What's up, Raiders? Bionic here and welcome to Raid Shadow Legends, another video today. We're going to talk about patch 1.15. It's out. It brought up a couple changes. We knew about most of them, some we did not exactly know about. But what I want to do is quickly cover it, as I assume all the other YouTubers will be doing. What I also want to do though is go over some of the issues with patch 1.15, because yes, I do believe that once again it's not perfect. I think perhaps there's some things we need to remind Plarium that we want to change. Also, that some of these changes might look good, but in the end they might actually not be as good as we think. So anyway, I want to keep this short for you guys, so let's get going because there is a couple of things to cover. The infinite clan boss HP. We've seen it. It looks like this basically. Wrong section in here. Alright, so it's infinite. You can keep hitting it. However, do keep in mind that if you have a really strong team and you hit this on auto, it's going to keep going forever. Like literally until the boss actually kills you, so you may end up having like 30-minute runs. But then again, who's going to hit the easy boss if they have a really strong team? Now, what I did personally today is I hit the Nightmare Clan boss on the Void Affinity. I got my 2 keys in. I let it go full power. And then I got a couple of extra keys that we got from compensation. And I started hitting the Ultra Nightmare, but only once I had the okay from my clan boss, clan leader, sorry. So I managed to get 2 decent keys on the Magic Affinity, alright? But that's Magic Affinity, so I don't typically have this. So I may be able to get the top chest from Ultra Nightmare today as well. Okay, so let's move on to the next point, which is basically the increased player level cap from 60 to 100. Now, this is one of the parts that I say is good, but maybe not as good as we think. So we have these new progression rewards every 5 levels. That's great, but I mean, we confirmed this before, no increase in our maximum energy pool. Personally, I think this is a problem because I think not having enough energy is, you know, a problem to start with, but the other problem is that it takes less than a full night for this to regen, so I'm effectively wasting close to about 2 hours every day of regeneration. I would love for this to just line up with at least a decent night's sleep, like maybe 8 hours, 9 hours, that would be great. But I really think that pushing this to 150 wouldn't be that bad. In fact, people might just play a little bit more. They might be more tempted to spend more energy refills. So although this is a nice change, I guess, to go all the way to level 100, it really doesn't do much other than these progression rewards, which are nice. I mean, 300 gems, you know, legendary tomes, that's great. It's going to take forever to do it, but I would have hoped for a little bit more. So this is one of the points that I think could have been done a little bit better, but hey, like I said, free rewards, that's always nice. Then we've got the improved rewards from Gold 4 Arena Chest. We've also talked about this before. In case you guys didn't know, what you can now do is go into the tiers here, click on this little icon. It's going to show you what is possible from this. So again, this is great. We're going to get more rewards out of a chest from Gold 4. However, we're still only getting the same pool of items that you are in all of the gold chests. You still do not have access to these pieces of gear right here, or these sets rather. You also cannot get a sacred shard and legendary skill tome. I think this is a problem. Personally, I think it's unfair that only 300 players in the game can get these rewards right here, because let's face it, these are very game changing. I know it encourages people to perhaps spend more to get to platinum, but I really think that they should increase the platinum range to maybe 1,000 players, if not more, or give a slight chance to get these rewards out of the gold 4 chest. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. I'm gonna keep saying it because I think it's a nice change to have more loot, but I still think it's going to be loot that basically nobody uses, right? These aren't good enough to really make a difference. So I do really believe that these would make a difference if they were accessible to more players in the game. It would encourage more competitive play, I think, in the high gold tier 4 and whatnot. But hey, that's just their way of doing it. Once again, I'm gonna have to point it out though, I think it should be a little bit better. Then the challenge rules in tournaments. The other point where I believe we need to look at both sides of the medal for this. This is going to create more diversity in builds, adding these new little challenges basically to compete, which can change from like using a champion of a specified rarity, using only certain champions from a certain alliance. Then we also have champions from a certain faction, perhaps in only like a mono faction team, right? Kind of like faction wars. Great. But what I see here is another way to dilute your resources. And I think that this in the long run might hurt beginner players, right? You're going to try and compete in these tournaments where the rewards usually aren't that great, where you're going to be competing against players who are putting in a lot of money into this game. So for a free-to-play player like myself starting out, I would not be able to really compete in this because I'm always going to be focused on doing the next best thing for my account, which is improving my clan boss or my arena team or trying to reach the level 20 dungeons. Yet this is just going to be another thing to distract me. I'm not really excited about this, to be honest. Like, it's nice. I see what they're trying to do to perhaps make other champions in the game useful because we know that only a handful are. But I still think this might be a problem as well. And I felt like I had to point it out to you guys because don't start wasting a bunch of resources just to compete in a specific tournament where in the long run, like I said, it is probably only going to slow you down. Then they're talking about the new tournament type that we knew as well. It's an arena onslaught where you get points for your arena offense victories. Good. Then they go on about champion rebalances, which is good. Perhaps Skull Lord will be that much more useful. I doubt it, but we'll see. Then they also present this right here, which was the critical damage bonus is now multiplicative, not additive for Rich Off the Bold. And then the damage reduction, same thing, multiplicative instead of additive for some of the champions right here. I'm curious to see if this is going to affect Duchess, if it's going to make her slightly less viable. We'll see. You guys should let me know because I don't have one. Rotos the Lost Groom, it's only going to affect him when Sifi is there. I still think he is going to be very useful, sorry. Then a few champion visualization fixes. Again, nothing too crazy here. Some other champion fixes. Eager to see if we're going to see more of these champions for those reasons. But no, aside from that, then we have some game experience enhancements. Perhaps the one to talk about is the champions used in fusions will now be marked with an icon. You guys probably saw that already. It looks like a little blue icon like this, right? The only concern I have with this as well is now I'm always going to see this little icon and champions that I do not know if it's going to be for the limited time fusion or for perhaps the permanent fusions only. So what I would like is to have perhaps a different color. If we're going to have a limited time fusion, please put it red or something just so that I don't confuse always thinking that I'm getting rid of champions that I actually need for this limited time fusion. Like the ones that are showing up for like Relic Keeper and Broadma, it's just going to be really annoying, to be honest. But it's still a nice little added feature. Then I think they also said that they added confirmation prompt, basically, when you're about to use this champion for something. They also had another point here where I found interesting. Yeah, fixed the bug with the battle limit in the Platinum Arena that meant a player could attack another more than 10 times without triggering the limit and getting a cooldown. So once again, some arena boosting was going on because of this. So I'm eager to see if this is going to make Platinum a little bit more fair. Platinum tier matchmaking system is now based on position in your tier, not arena points. Also curious to see what this is going to do. But you guys can probably read the rest here. Nothing else too crazy. I covered the main topics, and like I said, there are things that are nice, but there are things that I think we need to look at both sides of the medal. Also, last thing I'll cover quickly. This was not a seamless transition to the new patch once again. I had two update compensations, right, or raid update gift, but I think we all saw it. They had a couple of issues trying to launch the patch. You made us download this ahead of time to prevent something like this, yet it still happened. It's not the end of the world, but I'm sure some people maybe lost some keys in the clan boss. Perhaps they lost their ability to compete in the last minute tournament to get the top rewards. So guys, these things get really annoying over time. But I like to think that they are trying really hard to prevent this from happening again. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about the patch, about my thoughts on the patch in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.